What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, today we're going to be checking out some Need for Speed gameplay. Yeah, no, it's a little something different from the typical gameplay you see on this channel, but I did want to go ahead and change things up. On this channel, I do like to add a little bit of variety. Regardless if the gameplay in the background, resembles what the commentary is about, it doesn't really matter to me. The only thing that I really care about is if the commentary resembles the title, and maybe the thumbnail as well. I don't really know, whatever. But when it comes to the gameplay, I like to use pretty much anything just to add a little spice to the channel, give you guys something different to watch since, I do make daily YouTube videos. So to keep things fresh and interesting, I wanted to go ahead and put some Need for Speed gameplay up here. I actually play this game quite often on my Twitch streams, which is actually where I got this gameplay. So if you guys do want to be a part of my live streams, I do them every single day over on Twitch. Link to that stuff is down in the description. We usually last about like 4 to 5 hours, maybe even 6 hours sometimes. So make sure you tune in when you get a chance. Say hi, come hang out. We always have open lobbies no matter what game. Call of Duty, Battlefield, even Need for Speed Heat. If you're on console and it's crossplay, or even PC, you can always add me up and we get to dish in some sauce. But I gotta say, so far this year, a lot of the FPS games that are being released, I am pretty happy with. Now, I am not going to say that they're good or they're amazing or anything like that, because obviously all these games like Halo Infinite, Call of Duty Vanguard, Battlefield 2042, all these games are clearly not out yet. So until they come out, it's just a bunch of opinions and stuff like that. And even when the games do come out, I'm still just going to be giving my opinions. A lot of people for some reason take my channel as legitimate news 24/7 when a lot of the times it's just opinion based. I'm not some news source with a bunch of people, 20 plus people doing research on games. No, I'm just some guy who loves playing video games. It's my passion and I love talking about it with you guys. That's the whole purpose of this channel. But so far, every title that I'm excited for, the development teams behind these games have been really good when it comes to communication, and I'm extremely shocked because as a Call of Duty fan, there hasn't been too many FPS games that have been releasing in the past few years, and all we have dealt with is Treyarch Games and Infinity Ward, and you already know how that goes. Every single year, it's nothing but being ignored, screaming at walls, and getting nothing finished or done for the final product of these games. A lot of them have egos that go through the roof, and it's really impossible to try to, negotiate anything with these developers to do anything good in their titles. But this year, we have lucked out completely. We have Sledgehammer Games, which is probably the most responsive development team of all three of the teams that work on Call of Duty. They are phenomenal, I gotta say. Even in the past titles, like World War II, they really talked to us. They discussed stuff with us. They even did an overhaul in World War II to make sure that the game performed better for us. They even told us about skill-based matchmaking. They're the ones that told us that skill-based matchmaking is not the developer's fault. It's all up to the publisher that determines if skill-based matchmaking is going to be in the game or if it's going to be toned down by a lot. So yeah, I gotta say, Sledgehammer Games, they're nailing it right now. Despite if the game is going to turn out good or if it's going to turn out bad, like I said, we can't really judge it until we get the official build of the game. But, at the end of the day, I'm extremely happy how Sledgehammer Games is talking to us. They're actually giving us respect and showing us that they care about the community. Next up is Halo Infinite. Now, I don't know too much about the Halo scene. I'm going to be honest. I was always a very hardcore Call of Duty guy and also much more into Battlefield than Halo. But I've seen a lot of OGs say that, 343 is just not a good development team when it comes to making Halo games. And they just completely missed the old developers. But this year, 343 is knocking it out of the park right now when it comes to game design and also listening to their community. Everything in Halo Infinite so far is basically a perfect mix of what the community loves about their core game experience. It's something that the Call of Duty community has been complaining about for years. Everybody's saying we want to return to the OGs, to the classics, to something good. But of course, as we all know, we get completely ignored every single year. But again, that's off topic. 343 has been absolutely nailing it in every possible way with Halo Infinite. And then here comes Battlefield 2042. Now, I am super impressed with how EA DICE is handling this game. First off, especially after a game like Battlefield 5. But I have to be honest, because it's not just with Battlefield 2042 that I'm impressed with EA DICE. I'm just impressed with their overall work and the way they communicate with their community overall. Now, the first and only time I've ever seen horrible feedback with how they handled situations with their community was with Battlefield 5, when they went ahead and told their whole community, don't go and buy the game if you don't like it. And that was probably the stupidest thing that I've ever seen them do. Regardless of that, everything else is very solid. EA DICE is known for listening to problems in their game. For example, the horrible changes with time to kill in Battlefield 5. Now, for everybody that remembers, that was an issue that just came up out of the blue. For some strange reason, EA DICE just decided to say, hey, you know what, we're just completely changing the whole time to kill of this game, which drastically changed the overall gameplay of the title. Now, the community fought back, and we fought back for a very long time. It wasn't something that changed instantly. It wasn't something that, we just said, hey, EA DICE, we need this now, and they just went ahead and did it. No, we went through multiple changes, multiple patches, multiple updates to try to get it back to normal. But each step of the way, they made sure they listened, they understood what we're saying, and even though I feel like it shouldn't have taken like 4 to 5 updates to fix the time to kill, it should have been like 1 to 2 updates to fix it back to normal, at the end of the day, they reverted it. They didn't completely revert it back to, what it was before, but they found a nice medium point that worked for both parties. Same thing with multiple other features. For example, the ammunition. I remember in the beginning of that game, you started off with like 2 mags, barely anything to get into any gunfights. It was horrible. And again, we complained, we whined, we bitched at them, and we said we needed more ammunition. We need this to be changed. We need that to be changed. And over the course of the whole year of Battlefield 5, they really did perfect it around the community. It wasn't a situation like Call of Duty, where the developers make the game how they want it to be. No, they listened to what the community had to say, and they developed the game around that feedback. So now, if you hop on Battlefield 5 to go ask the community how they think of their game, I bet you over half of them are going to say that they absolutely love it. Because, yes, it wasn't amazing in the beginning, and obviously, the very beginning of the game turned me off so much that I just never wanted to touch the game again. But like I said, over the course of a year plus of time and effort being put into this title, of community feedback being listened to, and also changing all the aspects of this game to fit around what the community wants, it turned into a banger for the majority of the Battlefield fans. Nothing crazy again, like I said, it still is missing a lot of the key factors that make it a really good Battlefield title, but at the end of the day, is it a playable game now? Is it much better than it was at launch? Yes, and that's only because of the community. If it wasn't for the community's feedback, if it wasn't for us who played the game and told them what's wrong with the game, Battlefield 5 would never be in the place that's in today. Which sucks, because it seems like EA DICE just simply didn't recognize that at first, which is why, in my personal opinion, the game completely flopped, because they did not respect the community early enough in order for the game to succeed right out of the gates. But here we are with Battlefield 2042, and it seems like they're taking a completely different approach. They saw the work that they did with Battlefield 5. They saw that the community knew exactly what they're talking about, which is good because, as we all know, the community are the reasons that these games are still alive, especially games from the past. There's still games tugging along years and years and years and years down the road still because the community adds content into the title. The community members make new maps. The community members make new game modes. The community makes sure that the game lives on. If someone or a massive group, not just someone, not a singular person, but if a massive group of people have a passion for a game that they love, they will do anything to make sure it stays alive. So, like I just said, they'll make new maps, they'll make new content, they'll add new things in the game, which means the developers have to do less work and they can focus more time on making sure the game is polished off and it runs good. The community helps your game live on. And like I said, I think they learned from their mistakes with Battlefield 5, because now in Battlefield 2042, they're extremely open with us. They're so open that they even went ahead and put out a survey asking people about their preferences when it comes to the class system in Battlefield 2042. For anybody who's watched my content for a while now around this specific title, you know that I enjoy the specialist system in Battlefield 2042. I think it actually plays pretty great, and throughout the whole beta, I had tons of variety. I literally used everything. I used ammo pouches, med bags, rockets. I used all the specialists across the board. I used all the weapons across the board. I mix-matched everything. I thought it was an awesome experience, and I love the specialist system in that game, and it adds for nicer variety. I just feel like it didn't work out too well because, again, it was the beta. Everybody had beta syndrome. They just wanted to pub stomp, so everybody just chose the meta thing. They saw everybody using grappling hooks, so that's what they used. They saw everybody using the M5 rifle. That's what they used, I feel like that's why specialists didn't turn out too well, but at the end of the day, I completely understand why people prefer the class system, because it adds for more teamwork, and also the class system is the main vibe of a Battlefield title. Now, I don't think they're going to completely remove specialists. They're already completely implemented into the game, so it'll be way too much work to completely alter that and bring in classes. But what I do think they're going to do, if the mass majority of the community votes against having specialists, they'll probably just add the equipment to certain specialists to make sure they work. So the medic person who has the actually medic pistol will carry a med bag. Any of the support players, maybe a sentry gun player, maybe someone else in the specialists, maybe they'll carry ammo. You know what I'm saying here? That might be their next fix, but at the end of the day, it's great to see EA DICE communicate with us. We also saw the same thing with Sledgehammer Games and Call of Duty Vanguard, which, again, I made a very positive video about that as well. It's amazing to see all the developers this year, after, multiple years of multiple communities complaining about being ignored. It's fantastic. For 1 year, everybody is actually listening to us. But I gotta say, I love EA DICE. I really, truly do. I know they have a handful of rough moments. I know they're not a perfect development team. But when it comes down to being a part of a gaming community or enjoying a game, I've always found it being the easiest to enjoy my stay with a Battlefield title. Every game out there, it seems like you're just yelling at a wall 24/7. I mentioned this earlier, and it's hilarious because all the developers and all the community managers and stuff like that for Call of Duty, they always block people, they ignore people, they just hate the community at times. But the Battlefield devs and the Battlefield community managers, you never have that problem. They don't end up blocking the whole community. They don't end up having mental breakdowns. They're very even-minded people that understand the frustrations of video games, especially if you're a massive fan of a video game. They understand where we're coming from as fans of their art, fans of their work, and they don't criticize us for that. And that's fantastic. They listen, they respond, they actually implement the work that we ask to be done into their game. They prove that a AAA development team doesn't have to ignore people. It doesn't need to be this way. They could be just as open as a indie development team. For example, like Splitgate. They could be just as active as a team like that, even if they're on a massive budget and they're under a huge publishing team and stuff like that. They can still communicate and do what they want in their game if the fans want it to be done. You can call me a shill. You can say I get paid by EA as much as you want. But like I said, I feel comfortable when I go into a Battlefield game. When I hop on Call of Duty, I feel the complete opposite. I feel anger, rage. You shouldn't feel that, especially in a game that you love. So, with that being said, hopefully Sledgehammer Games can change this because, like I said, they've been very active this year. But so far, EA DICE has just been nailing it in every possible way. But regardless of what type of FPS fan you are, we're all in for a treat. It's going to be a fantastic year. Not even just the three names I mentioned. Battlefield, Halo, and Call of Duty. There's still X-Defiant. Splitgate's still out there and it's doing fantastic. There's a lot of other games that are going to be releasing that or have already released that are just outstanding if you are an FPS or even a third-person shooter fan. I'm really excited to see how everything's going to turn out, and trust me, I'm going to be playing a lot of games this year and also covering a ton of games on this YouTube channel. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in to this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like button, say hey, it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, if you want to chat with me, there's two ways to do so, via Twitter and Discord. Both those links are down in the description. And also, want to catch me live streams some video games that are over on Twitch. Link that's in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.